Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Stitch Nation episode 5. It is a bright and early day today. I'm sitting here in the office and I have got my coffee. For those of you who were watching yesterday, I got it. We're good. We're back. We're back in action. I'm very excited for today's show, and I'm so excited to have you all here today. Let me see some people who are on this morning. We've got Star Raymond and Phil Beck, Yvonne Hudson. We've got Wolfgeist, Verita Wallace. We've got them all here. We're all so happy you guys are here tuning in today, and we have got a good show for you guys today. So today is going to be Applique replay. So we wanted to go back and watch an older episode of Candace and on her show with Tea Time, and which is we revived, and now it's going on Fridays. But she did a really excellent class with Debbie, all about applique, Debbie Ewing. And I thought it would be a perfect show to have today and learn a little bit more about applique because they did such an amazing job and they were showing off some amazing projects. And why not give it some new life and replay it today? So I just want to go over a few things real quick. As you know, we've got shows going on every single day at 10 a.m. And tomorrow is going to be quite a big show. We have got Blaine. He's obviously going to be hosting the show, but not from here, not from California. He will be in Nashville, and he is going to be at the Brother Convention this year, going around, talking to all of the vendors, going through the vendor mall, going through and seeing all the new Brother products, all the new machines. It's so exciting, and we can't wait to see him over there. We haven't seen him all week, so he will be there tuning in live, and we hope you guys can make it. It'll be so much fun. And Friday, we have tea time, so we've had a great week so far, and the week is not over. We're still going strong. We are still going strong. But hey, I want to go over just a couple things real quick before we get started with today's video. And you will see that they are going to be using the Baby Lock Ballad. Now, I want to just show you something real quick because we have got an amazing deal going on with this machine. So I'm just going to show you real quick. Let me add my screen to the page. So this is the Baby Lock Ballad. And right now it's $49.99. We only have 3 left in stock. And if you get it today, we have a little drop-down menu right here. And that is going to give you a free $500 SMP gift card to buy all the things that you want off our website. And it's awesome. We just thought we would, give you something special. So make sure you guys check out the machine on the video, see all the features. It's such an awesome machine, and Baby Lock really just does an amazing job when it comes to quilting and sewing machines. They are just fantastic. One of my favorite brands for sure. But if you look down here and you click on this, it says summer sale. If you click on that, we have an email list. So if you sign up for emails, we send out giveaways, or we send out deals, we send out all types of different things going on, all the different events and classes that we're having. The emails are kind of your one-stop shop for everything SMP. We've got all the updates, all the new things going on. Everything will be on those email lists. So, and it gives you a chance to see what shows are coming up and also all of the different sales, because this summer sale right now, you do not want to miss out. So if you go here and enter your email in right here, it will sign you up for our emails and you'll get some emails. So, and with those emails, we might have something special going on. We might throw in some special things. You never know. You never know. You'll just have to sign up and find out. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that new offer we've got going on right for Stitch Nation. So check out the machine on the show and head to our website and you can shop the Ballad and get that $500 SMP gift card and get all the essentials that you will need. Anything you need. Templates, rulers, all the things. So let me take this off real quick. But other than that, I have got, I'm seeing comments, signed up. Awesome. Yay. I'm so glad. Yeah, just keep an eye out for those emails. There's always something good in all those for everyone. So anyways, let's get on to the show. Oh, who's that? Kyle in the house. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started with today's video, and I'll be behind the scenes if you guys have questions, anything like that. I'll be back, and at the end, I will hop back on, and I will not forget giveaways. Don't worry. Don't let me forget. I will be back on to do some fun giveaways. Alrighty, you guys. Enjoy, and I will be back in a bit. See you guys later.
Okay, so awesome. All right, I guess we're kind of ready to get started. What do you think?
I think we're ready. We've got a lot to do.
We have so much to do today. Debbie is here to talk about applique. And there's a whole lot to talk about applique.
Who knew? Before I got started with this, I just thought it's only going to take 10 minutes, Candace. Now we're like an hour's worth of material at least, and it's just nuts. But it's a lot of fun. So you want to start by looking at some of the samplers I brought?
Yeah, absolutely.
So in my mind, applique is anything that is stuck on top of something else to enhance the original's look. And I brought a piece from my husband's grandmother. I wanted to show you. Oh, I got to get used to this. This was done in the late 1800s. And I think it was a kit because the face and the arm and the toes are from paper. But then somebody appliqued or stuck on embellishments to give it more of a three-dimensional look. I think there's even human hair in it around her face.
Wow.
But I think that's kind of cool. So our appliques that we do today have been done for a really long time. The tools have changed, the techniques have changed slightly, but the basic idea is the same. I brought some of my quilts so you could see different forms of applique as well. And we'll talk about them all in depth as we continue this course. So you want to start with this yellow
Sure.
one?
Let's talk about this. Isn't this fun? This chicken one back here.
This is so unlike me. This was a kit using Cafe Faz. I usually say it backwards, fabric, which is way outside of my wheelhouse, but it's all appliqued in a blanket stitch with black, so the applique will show around the edges. It's raw edge, meaning that technically the edges could fray, but we don't really care because it'll look like feathers or whatever if it does. But the applique is close set enough where it will keep it.
Oh, you can really see the blanket stitch on there.
I know. I think
Great
it
job,
adds a
David.
fun dimension. Another type of technique that we're going to talk about is all of the Laura Heine patterns and quilts.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Oh my, your head's in there.
Is it my head in
your
there?
head in there?
Yeah.
So here's one.
This is so cool. This is it's called Raw Edge Applique.
This was the original pattern. So mine doesn't look exactly like it, but it's close enough, and I love it. But all of these pieces aren't even sewn down around the edges. They're just quilted all the way through to hold everything down at one time. And that's a perfectly valid form of applique.
So let's show a couple more of these Laura Heine ones. So let's do the top camera. So we have quite a few of these in. This one I think just came out last year, the gingerbread house. And Halloween's coming up. We have the black cat. And then this one came out also, I think, last year. This is my favorite form of applique, and I call it art quilts. So this uses steam-a-seam too, and we'll kind of show you that. It's a double-sided fusible product that you fuse onto your fabric, and then you fuse onto your pattern piece. So you just draw the outline of your image, and then you're going to fuse your fabric on there. So we have a couple other images to show you. So let's kind of take a look at those. I think we have shown this before. We have a flamingo that's hanging in our classroom. That was done. This one, of course, is all, like I said, raw edge applique. And then it's either quilted, and then you add the background. So that's one. And then we have the one that I did, the seahorse.
Oh, that's so pretty.
This was really fun. Again, you just do the seahorse and then you add the background. And this one's kind of like yours. It's mounted on a form, so it could be hung on the wall. But if you can also quilt these and put them on as a quilt or a bed cover or whatever you want.
Well, that's the other thing with applique. You don't have to think that it can only go on a quilt. It can go on anything. And whether it's a wall hanging or a purse or a jacket back, or it can go on any surface. So you just have fun with it.
Yeah, that's there. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, applique, I think, is more in the realm of art. And so you're combining artistic creativity and sewing.
Exactly.
And I think that's perfect. Perfect combination.
Exactly. You don't even have to stick with just printed fabric to do your applique. I have this one. I don't know if you could do the overhead. I got to keep remembering
always
right
backwards.
side up. This has wool around the little end flowers, which I think is kind of cool because you could let the wool be a little bit loose, and over time it'll kind of fuzz out and look really interesting too. This is another technique by a woman named Lynn Hagermeyer, and she does Kansas trouble quilts. And
So
I was shocked.
buttons.
Yeah, because hers intentionally has a raw edge. The thing that she said is that if you cut fabric on the bias, it won't ravel anyway. So she has you put the piece on top of another and then sew close to the edge with a small straight stitch right around the edge. And I think the results are really, really pretty.
I really love a raw edge.
I do too.
Yeah.
I there's times when it's really functional and adds to what you're doing, and other times you're thinking, wish I had, glued it down better or something. But but it's another technique to add. So I've decided that with applique, your biggest worry is decision, decision, decision. And we're going to talk more about those as we go on. I just have a couple more samples to show you of different ones we're going to talk about today. Now I'm getting into the big ones. Yikes.
Really pretty quilts.
So this is a really cool quilt. I think it's called Grandma's Garden or something. But there's applique all around the edge. And these are a very simple design, all done, of course, in the 30s fabric, all blanket stitched down. But these edges are all turned so that they're a little crisper than what we saw earlier. From a distance, you can't tell. But when you look close, you can. We're going to talk about how to do that one. This is another Lynn Hagemeyer quilt from Kansas Trouble. And this was really interesting because all of these curves are all appliqued on top of that red panel. All of these triangles, because they're cut on a bias, are appliqued on top of a piece of fabric to make it look like flying geese. Of course, the flowers and stems are all appliqued down, but I only blanket stitched around the stem. I have no idea why, but all the rest of the flowers are sewn with a little bit in from the edge with a shorter stitch and same color thread as the pattern piece. I only have a couple more, so you don't have to look at everything I've ever made, but this one was, it's all appliqued, it's all turned under. And again, it's just working from the back towards the front, stacking things. Usually I glue the whole thing down before I start to do the applique around the edge. I have so many of these quilts at home. I don't know why I make more, but I can't help myself. This is really pretty. I know it. This thing is huge. My God. But again, it's raw edge. I used steam machine to actually glue the edges down so it won't ever fray on me. And then I blanket stitched around the edge. But again, it's a contrast of colors. It's stacking from the back up toward the front. Two more.
This is good. We're getting higher to the, closer to the camera.
We'll be hidden eventually. This was a one by Sherry Stoll. I made it a long time ago. These were all done with freezer paper to turn the edges under. And I'm going to show you how to do freezer paper. I don't know if you will like it or not, but that was that was the only way you used to be able to turn edges under back then. And this is my latest one that I did. I'm just going to show you one square. This one's by Lori Holt for Riley Blake Fabrics. And I noticed on your wall, you have a whole set.
We do. We have this in the store.
And it's 50% off.
50% off of that. I've got a couple of these in our San Marcos store and a few down in our Mission Bay store. If you can't find these online, but you could give us a call at one of our retail stores, and we could definitely send it out to you.
What's really cool about her patterns is you don't buy a pattern. You go on her website, and the pattern is there free for you.
It's got all the fabric,
and
everything
this is the part
need.
That's so cool. And hers are all done with templates. She sells a package of plastic templates, and you trace around them and then turn them under a special way that I'm going to show you later today. So that's what we have to start with. So you could see why you have so many decisions to make. In fact, the first decision that you have is what kind of stitch do I want to use to put my embroidery or my applique down and hold it there for eternity. And David and I made a video for you to watch that shows you some of the options.
Awesome. So yeah, we're going to watch a couple videos.
We have a couple decisions to make before we even start. First of all, we have to decide, are we going to sew it down with a sewing machine or by hand? We're not going to do hand because that's a 4-letter word, right? Once we've decided to sew it down by our machine, we want to decide what kind of thread to use because thread comes in different weights. And I'll show you an example in a minute of what the different weights look like in applique. The third thing we need to decide is which stitch to choose. And And there's lots of ways to machine sew and applique down. And I'm going to go through those on the machine in just a minute. When we're talking about thread, there are a lot of variables. One of the most important for me is thread size. We usually quilt with this weight, which is 50. But sometimes we want a little pizzazz, and you might want to do our applique with a shiny embroidery type thread, which is 40 weight and perfectly fine. If you want to mimic the look of handwork, however, you're going to want to go with a thicker thread. This is a 12 weight. There's a 30 weight as well, which is almost this size. But if you want to go any bigger than this, you're going to want to change your needle to a bigger hold needle, like a 90 or even 100. The whole point is, what is the final look that we want to have? So when we're talking about sewing down our applique, there's a number of different stitches that you can use. In the olden days, we used to always use a satin stitch. We would make it wider and we would make it shorter stitch length so that we had basically a solid bar around our applique. Some people just use a straight stitch and reduce the stitch length and just sew around the inside of the shape, maybe a 1/16 of an inch in or something. But there's 4 other stitches that I think you can use, and if you experiment on your machine, you might find even more. The first one that it comes on my machine is a regular, it's called Quilting applique stitch. This stitch is very, you can hide this stitch more easily on your applique. It only bites into your fabric a teeny bit, and then it outlines the rest of it. I'm going to show you in a minute how this stitch is actually performed. Another stitch that you can use is called a shell tuck stitch. I'm going to reverse it so it looks the same as the last one. The only difference between this stitch, if you are looking at the picture on the machine, is how deep the stitch is going to bite into your applique. In reality, it's actually more than that, and I'm going to show you the difference in just a minute on that one too. Another good stitch to use is a blanket stitch. This is a very old-fashioned, timeless stitch that was used to edge the raw edges of blankets back in the day, but it makes a really cool applique stitch as well. I usually lengthen it so that it's further between the bites, and sometimes I like to make the width teenier. If I do that, that almost looks exactly like the very first applique stitch I showed you, but in a minute you'll see it's totally different. This is called a hem stitch. I'm going to reverse it so it looks like the very like the blanket stitch looks. If you were to put this aside to the first one I showed you, it looks identical. This stitch is formed totally different, but it has a very cool edge that it will make when it's all finished. It bites into the fabric as much as the blanket stitch did, but it's this line, if you want an actual outline of your applique, that's important. I made this sampler of different stitches that you can show how they stitch out compared one to another. I suggest you do the same thing with your machine at home and adjust the stitch length and stitch width so that you have some different options to choose from for sewing down your applique. This sampler shows those same 4 stitches, just with how the stitch itself is formed. In the applique stitch, the first one we did, it's formed by 4 running stitches with the bite into the fabric. 4 running stitches, the bite into the fabric. If you reduce the stitch length on this one, it doesn't change by very much the distance between where the stitch is going to bite into the fabric. However, on the shell tuck edge stitch, that only has 3 stitches between where it bites in. So if you're looking for an applique stitch that has a smaller distance between the bites, you might want to experiment with this one. The same thing is true on the blanket stitch. This has only one stitch before it bites into the fabric, another stitch and it bites in. If you were to lengthen the stitch length on this one, you could improve the distance between the bites into your applique. Finally, the hem stitch. Sometimes it's called the pin stitch, depending what kind of sewing you're doing. This takes 4 or 5 stitches in the same place, back and forth, before it bites into the fabric. The result is a nice thick line, which if you're looking to outline your applique, might be a great choice. You can lengthen the stitch length on this one as well, so that it's not quite so dense, and have a beautiful finish to your project.
All right. I loved that video. Oh my gosh, that was fabulous.
I know, we did it ahead of time because otherwise it's so hard to get back and forth, and you got to see that stuff. So,
and that's always a question. What stitch am I going to use?
I know, and you got to know ahead of time. Yeah. If you make a sampler like that so you could always refer back to what stitch length you chose, what stitch width, which one you liked, how does it look. It's a lot easier for future projects. I wanted to talk about the sampler project that we're going to do today together. The download for it will be put on after the show, but the idea is it's going to look something like this. Disregard the shiny part. I tape down buttons because I want to put them at the very end when I'm all finished, but that's what it's kind of going to look like. I like to embellish things with buttons. I don't always do the applique or stitch around a design. Sometimes you want it to have somewhat of a three-dimensional quality. You could put wool instead of these little yellow buttons, or instead of these buttons. There are different things you could do other than what I did, but I want to show you how I got started. So first thing you have to have is a light box. This one is a slimline box. I don't know about you. I started off outlining on a window and trying to hold up your design and tape it, and then on fabric. It was a mess. Then we got the light boxes with the regular light bulb inside and the plastic cover, and then that got so hot.
So I want you to see how thin this is. This is amazing. So this, and the price on this is fantastic. And I think it will kind of dim down, and it goes lighter and lighter. Look how bright that gets. So these are ones that we do have in our online and in the store. And it actually comes with also a cutting mat. So this is a Nifty Notions. And like I said, it comes with a mat and everything you need.
And if you treat yourself to one big sewing notion a year, this is the one. You
a year
really,
or a month? Oh, every year. How about each month?
Whatever. I had to buy my cutting mat separate, so it's cool to see that they come together now. But
yeah, because it's almost, you can see through the mat as well if you've got the light on.
It is amazing. Of course, you can use it for things besides sewing, but why would you? So,
well, we use it, like I said, I use it for pattern. When we have to put our patterns together, we do PDF download patterns, and you have to tape them. And they're very difficult to see once you put one paper on top of another. So we use this for patterns, taping patterns.
It's awesome.
And for kids, for drawing and paint, you know.
Kids would love it. Plus, it's easy to clean up if they kind of miss out the lines. I am jealous of your carry case.
I happen to have the carry case for mine. This one's mine. So you can see mine is in here. And this is a case. I don't have any right now in the store, but we could definitely get these ordered for you. We might have some online. It's the Nifty Notions carry case. But isn't this fabulous?
I'm all about the color, as you know.
She's a pink girl. She loves pink. So we might have to get Debbie one of these. And then it does come with a strap. And it has an extra zipper on the front. I'm in love with this case. And I actually keep a couple of my mats in here at home.
Oh,
so
that's
I love
good.
it to, you know, just keep it home where everything's handy. And I know it's protected because
Yeah, that's
can break.
awesome. Well, it's an amazing piece of equipment to have, and you really need to treat yourself to one if you don't have it already. So I'm going to start off today with my design. I got this from a coloring book, and then I simplified it because you can't have too many details in an applique. The dotted lines are intended to be stitching lines that will go on top of your design at the very last step. These double circles, I chose to put my middles with buttons, but you could choose to add, you want to take all the buttons off, you can choose to add applique too. So we're going to start by deciding whether to do a raw edge applique or a rolled finished edge applique. We're going to start with raw, so you could decide how you want to go. The first kind we're going to do is where we are copying the design onto a fusible backing. This one I cut ahead, and it's the end of the roll, so it's all wobbly. So I'm not really going to use it.
But we would tape it down and then trace. Now this is Steam-A-Seam 2, and let's talk just for a sec about Steam-A-Seam 2. You can get it by the yard. We sell it by the yard. It comes in several different sizes, or you can buy the whole box. I actually bought the whole box and shared it with my mom and one of my other friends because it's perfect for all of the raw edge applique. Now, the reason Steam-A-Seam 2 is fabulous is because it's tacky. It will stick. A lot of the other double fusible products, they don't stick until you iron it. Well, I changed my mind. So I don't want to iron it till I'm completely finished. So the Steam-A-Seam 2 is tacky enough that it will stay on your project.
That's really good to know. The other thing that you have to think about when using a fusible backing like that is wood is right side up.
Yes.
Because I did a whole one of these samplers and put it flat on top of my design like this. When I ironed it onto my fabric, cut it out and peeled it away, all of my designs were backwards.
Yep.
So if you're using a product like this, the first thing you do is turn your design upside down. Now you can see why that light is so important, because you could still see through here enough to trace. I'm going to pretend I did all my tracing. I'm going to pretend I did all my cutting out. And I'm going to start with my background pieces.
So one step, we just kind of skipped it over.
This was the backwards one.
Fusing your Steam-A-Seam to your fabric. So you're going to put your fabric on your Steam-A-Seam, iron it down, and then cut it out. And this is what you get. You still have the Steam-A-Seam paper on the back. And when you're ready to place it, you're going to peel off that paper and stick it on your project.
Correct. Now, when I made my project, the first thing I did after tracing it onto a piece of fabric was to back the fabric with a piece of cutaway stabilizer. Otherwise, I'm going to sew everything down to a single layer of fabric, and it's going to pucker anyway, expect it. But this will help keep it from puckering a whole lot.
Yeah, stabilizer is a must. I've learned that working here. I didn't realize that you need stabilizer just about everything you do. We do sell the SF101, which is a woven stabilizer, and I use it for all of my projects. You know, it's great for embroidery, and it's great for applique or any of your sewing projects.
When I first drew this pattern onto fabric, I did not use the Sharpie like I showed you a minute ago.
No. You
would use the Sharpie on your
Steam-A-Seam, yeah, but not your fabric.
Not your fabric. When drawing onto the fabric, I use a friction pen. This irons away. So I drew out my whole design on my piece of fabric with friction. Once that was done, I realized that some of these lines are so skinny that I do not want to try to applique something that little. So I just did a satin stitch on some of these smaller lines in colors just to get me started.
That's a great idea, because like you said, you didn't want to applique that. That would be such a pain.
I can't see as it is, and I'd go blind, that's for sure.
So we do, you can find the friction pins in all different types of configurations. This one happens to be 6. And you can see it says friction on there. They're erasable, gel ink, and they're fabulous. They'll disappear with an iron. And it's a great way to mark, especially in this type of design. Because you need a really good.
You need it, and
pencil will not go away.
Right, and expect to go back over your design and redraw the parts that got ironed out. It's fine. It's a small thing to pay to have to keep your design working. So once you have your Steam-A-Seam or other fusible whatever on your fabric, you're going to. Fusible webbing.
Double-sided fusible webbing.
Thank you. I knew there was a technical term. You peel that off, and then you're going to stick it right on top of your design like that.
And this is what I'm saying. Because it's Steam-A-Seam too, it's tacky enough to stay there.
See, I didn't use that on this because I didn't have it at home.
And it doesn't stay.
It doesn't stay.
But Steam-A-Seam too will stay there.
So what I would do at this point is get all of my pieces that are Steam-A-Seam 2 and lay them out. I have a bunch of these little things, these round ones. This one has purple round things. Get those all.
And just to let you know, we didn't talk too much about cutting, but Debbie's got a collection of Karen Buckley scissors that are serrated. They have the serrated edge. And we featured this on my show a couple times. But the serrated edges, this is my favorite size, keeps your fabric from fraying.
Mm-hmm.
They're very sharp, and it helps the fabric not to fray when you're doing raw edge applique. So definitely find some good serrated edge scissors.
Yeah, and you got to have them in every size.
Every
size.
I
do.
You don't have the pink ones.
I do. I have
you do.
the pink ones, and I have a little green one.
So you have them all, and the red ones.
I can't help it. I can't help it. Anyway, once all of those pieces are down, you're going to iron them down, right? So I tried to do this in steps.
Yes, very good.
So now these pieces have been fused down, except for these leaves. The leaves I put down afterward because I wanted them, remember, to be 3-dimensional. So I cut them out a different way. On the leaves, I traced on my light board with freezer paper, and freezer paper has a side that's kind of shiny, and that side irons right onto fabric. So if you iron it onto your fabric, cut out around it, it's so easy to take off, and then you have your shape. Those I put down after the fact.
Freezer paper is great to use for templates, like you said, to cut out a shape.
Yes.
You just draw on the freezer paper, and then it stays on the fabric, so you can cut it out.
Exactly. Once I had all these pieces down, I decided to tack them down with sewing. So we talked earlier about different stitches. This is a 3-step stitch or bean stitch or something. It goes 3 stitches, 3 stitches, then 1, 3, then 1, 3, then 1. And I just went down the center of each of these pieces. The ball shape I'm leaving till the end. I'm not even going to tack those edges down because I'm going to put a button on the middle of these. Then I went back, added the leaves, and did the same stitch up the center on the vein lines that are shown on your pattern. Whew, that was a lot of work to get there.
So ironing. Let's talk a second about ironing. You really want to use a wool mat for ironing this kind of applique. It kind of creates a little more of a moist heat, and it's great for applique as well as embroidery. And then we do have some of these little travel irons. This is one that we have in the store right now. And what I love is it's not too sharp. It's got a nice point on it, so you can really get in there and iron. And this one you can put water in and it'll steam. So ironing, there's all kinds of different irons because you have all these little spaces. And so I love a small travel iron for these little tiny projects. And then Debbie's got some antiques.
It's so embarrassing.
I called it antiques. I don't think you can find them anymore. Isn't this cool?
I know. You know, tools change over time. And I have this problem where I have to have it right then, right there. So I took a freezer paper applique class with Pearl Perea, and somewhere in Poway, that store's been gone for a long time. But I had to buy this. I had to buy this stand. I had to buy her special skewer. But we're going to talk about how to use this iron or this one. I even brought my clover iron because don't we all have one of these kind?
Yeah, and I don't know if we have these online. We had them in the store at one time when we were doing lots and lots of classes and projects. But look how tiny that head is on there. I mean, you're really going to get into some tiny spots.
And I bought this one. I've never used it. But it's cool because the head can change, and it's got its own, sitting thing.
So don't feel bad if you have a collection. You need all kinds of irons to
don't give them
really
to me.
do the
I
job.
Don't need any more.
Right? You really, one iron isn't going to cut it. You need a couple different ones.
So we're going to talk about the freezer paper technique for making an applique. So freezer paper. Oh, sure. I tore it off.
So we use a couple more products with the freezer paper technique. One of them is freezer paper, of course, but the other one is a stiletto.
It fell where I can't reach it, so sorry about this.
She's got this cool stiletto. It's wood. And we just got these ones in. I think we featured these before. A little flamingo. So a stiletto will help you hold your fabrics, kind of a third, like you said, the third hand or a finger that's not going to burn when you use your iron. So stilettos are really important when you're ironing.
Thank you. So here's a bigger piece of freezer paper. You can see one side shiny, one side's plain. We used to call it butcher paper back in the olden days. It's what your butcher wrapped your meat in, so it wouldn't leak through. But of course, you would trace on the dull side, but this waxy side irons down onto fabric, and it comes right off. So if you have your, now I got to find the piece that I had ready to go. If you have your piece cut out, ironed onto the fabric, you could see that I cut it with paper scissors right around my drawn line. I left about 1/4 of an inch around it. I clipped with those sharp point scissors all over the place because those have to turn under.
Is that your moisturizer cream? What's going on, Debbie?
This is a great jar. I was worried. I haven't done this for so long. I was worried if I opened it up, it'd be all mildewy. And it's not. This was Niagara spray starch. And I sprayed it into the jar about 10 years ago.
So a spray starch is with a, what are we calling this? A paintbrush.
With a paintbrush.
We have this fabulous one, Best Press. And Best Press, you can find it in all different scents.
Yes. Oh, they're so good.
They have a brand new one that just came out that we just got in. Lavender. Not look amazing?
Wow.
So Best Press is a starch, but it's an amazing starch. It's not like your average spray starch. This one we use for all different product processes, but it's great. So she sprayed it. This is Best Press in this little container, and we're going to use.
You just dip it out. I'm going to use a regular paintbrush. I don't know what size, what kind. I just
grabbed whatever you have.
Stuff everywhere. Okay, so to do freezer paper turned under applique, you're going to paint along the edge like that, so it's good and wet. Then you have to pretend you're using chopsticks. So you hold this down with one hand, and you're going to lightly turn this up with the other.
So you can see where you really need an iron that's got a nice sharp point.
Yes. You know, when I was in high school, we use these things to put dry mount tissue on the back of photographs before they were mounted.
Mm-hmm.
So then they use it for this. And then the, with your silhouette machine, you can get a press, a heat press. We used to use those to melt the fusible material onto the back of the photographs to your mat board. So
wow.
I wish I had kept all those from back then. Anyway, this is how you do it. And then you're going to sit there and they keep falling back up. It's hard to get a nice smooth shape, but that's part of the process.
Just keep working with it.
You keep working with it and you mash it down and you hold it till it sets, till all that spray starch is dried. You can see why you need a wool mat.
Mm-hmm. It really absorbs the moisture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I would suggest is that you put an old cloth under it.
Yeah.
Because anytime you're using starch, you have the capacity to burn.
And steam. Because it will go through your mat. So definitely put your mat on something. Don't put it on your cutting mat because it will warp it. Ask me how I know.
Don't put it flat on your wooden table either. Ask me how I know that one.
We're giving you all the tips of what not to do.
Oh my God. Once the edges have all been turned under, you just pull this freezer paper out and you're good to go. I usually use a glue stick to glue this down into the part on my design where it's supposed to go, but you can use whatever you want.
Glue sticks, of course, are my best friend. We love glue sticks. I use them now for everything. I'm like, how come I didn't know about that years ago?
Years ago,
I was using pins and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, glue stick, it's perfect.
For a long time, we were told to use glue sticks like out of your children's school box thing. No, that really gums up your needle. That's
that'll gum up your needle. We have, just use the ones that say fabric glue. Of course, we have all different brands. This one's a Dritz, and it's perfect. It's just a glue stick, but the fabric glue ones, like I said, they won't gum up your machines or your needles. There are some people that still do use their kids' glue sticks, and that's fine. But we do recommend definitely one for fabric.
These wash out.
And they wash out, yes.
So they're pretty nice. Okay. This is a lot of information.
It is.
I hope everyone's taking notes.
So go back and watch as you do this project at home.
The last technique I'm going to show you is what I call Madera. I bet there's a better name for it, but I call it Madera. I do a lot of heirloom sewing, and Madera is a technique that you use to make those nice curves at the bottom of hems or things like that. So on this one, you're going to use your cutaway stabilizer to draw your design.
That looks like fusible mesh, no-show mesh. Yeah.
This probably is fusible, but that's because it's all I had. Anyway, once it's drawn, you're going to put that piece of cutaway right on the back side of your fabric. And you're going to sew right on the line, right around the line like this, all the way around. You're going to close the figure up. You're going to cut it close to your sewing line. I'm going to go like this.
There you go.
Oh, well. Okay.
You have to go opposite.
They're opposite of what you think. So I'm cutting it really close. I'm clipping the corners. I've sewn it all the way around. You could tell on this side maybe. Okay. Then you're going to cut a hole in the back
of the mesh.
Just in the back of the mesh. And you're going to use that as your gateway to turn this. Now, my turner tool is one of these bad boys.
Now, okay.
You wouldn't think about it.
All right.
You wouldn't think.
Let's watch
this. I turn it. This is like making sausage. There's no pretty way to do it. So you're going to turn it right side out. And this little ball part here is so helpful.
Those are the Floriani turning tools, or the R&K. We do still have some of these. And it has, like I said, it's got the little ball. So this is like a turning tool, a stiletto. You can use it for all kinds of things. But that little ball is your trick because it won't poke through the fabric when you're turning it.
Not usually.
Not well.
Ask me how I know that one.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to turn this little thing inside out, and you'll end up with a wrinkly, horrible piece that looks like this. But you don't care. You want to just mash it pressed. And
But it's perfect. Look at the edges on that. I mean, that's perfect. You couldn't do that with our other methods. So this is a very unique method.
Yes, I forgot to turn this little sucker up to high. Okay. Once you have it turned like this, you are going to spray it. And okay. Once it's turned like this, you're good to go. You can iron it flatter if you want. You could try to do your best with this, but you're done. This is the technique that was done by Lori Holt in that last quilt that I showed you. That was all applique. Well, my problem was I don't like the way the drawing lines show from this side sometimes. I don't like how it's puckered. So I thought if I could take away that liner piece once I'm done with it, it'd look prettier. Yeah. So I used this Madera method that we use in heirloom sewing. So if you use wash away thread, but only
we happen to have some.
Of course.
It's known as bobbin thread.
Well, because I wound it on the bobbin.
You wound it on the bobbin. Yeah.
There you go. So if you sew around that design on the line with wash away thread in your bobbin and regular thread on top, you could do this next step. You want to mark your bobbin.
Make sure you know it's wash away.
I saw this thing on YouTube. It was hysterical. This girl made her boyfriend a pair of swim trunks.
Oh, no. This already sounds
bad.
He's
like, you know how these 18-year-olds are. They're very sure of themselves and stuff. And he's preening around the pool in this thing. And he got in the pool showing off. And he's like, oh, my goodness.
It all came apart.
They cut away too soon.
They use wash away thread.
So
don't use wash away thread in a bathing suit.
No.
Okay.
And keep it in a plastic bag because moisture in the air will ruin it. Okay, once you do that, then you could do this next step. So you're going to spray it a lot with starch. And you're going to let it sit for a minute. And then you're just going to press it. You're not going to move your iron. In our heirloom class, this one lady sings this song. Press till dry, press till dry, press till dry, or you will cry.
I like that.
I know. Well, it's stuck. Now I have to
there
do
you
that.
go.
But the whole idea is to dry the spray starch. I'm not going to dry it all because you get the point.
It's kind of like using Tarot Magic.
Yes.
Yes.
Once you've dried it all like this, then you can pull it and iron it out so it's flatter. So you see the difference between the two shapes?
Yeah.
They're the same shape.
So your bobbin thread disappeared.
Yes. So now, Candace,
away.
All you need to do is pull it apart. So just peel it.
This?
Yeah.
And it'll just come right. Oh my gosh, look, it just came right out.
There. So if you look, and that was the top thread. If you look, the edges are turned under by only a teeny tiny bit. It's not perfect, but we don't care. It's a handmade item. That's not a cool method. It's not as bulky as having 2 layers of stuff is. And I just think it leaves a prettier piece.
It does. And I love this idea of this wash away.
There you go.
Bobbin thread. So this is something that we can use too in with serging. Hems and a few other things.
Yeah. It has so many uses. So many uses.
All right.
So once you have that done, I put mine down with glue stick. That held it so I could do my applique. This one I used the hem stitch because I wanted it to be outlined.
That triple.
Yes. Here I did top stitching. So there's just whatever stitch you want to put on it. put on your buttons and voila.
And then we'll put on our buttons.
Yep. And I'm going to show you one more. I was so organized. Oh, one thing I forgot to show. When you're ironing stuff down, especially using your double stick tape, or
Yes.
your Fusible,
Yes.
you really want to use a pressing cloth.
Yes. We do have
that's
the
how I know.
applique pressing cloths that will not get your iron sticky, because that sticky stuff will come off. And it'll come onto your iron, and that's bad. So
I wanted to show one more thing, and that was, well, those. But that was this other design. I gave you a bonus design because I wanted to show you that you don't have to just applique fabric. This is a ribbon. It's called the Floppy Bow Method. You tie a big bow, you flop it down, you mash it so it's flat, and then you applique around the edge.
Well, it really gives it a 3D effect.
It does, and I think that's pretty. I think
Yeah.
it adds just another dimension. So don't constrain yourself to just fabric is my point. And voila,
And there you
I'm
have it.
done.
So we have, basically we showed you 3 methods for applique: raw edge, freezer paper, and then this last tip, which you called Madera style. And so we've included that in the printout that you can download and check out. We have a couple other products we just want to share because we love them. One of them is our Kimberbell set of tools. So if you have the other camera, we can show you, especially when you're doing applique, having a good applique scissors is fabulous. I want to show you these. This is something I just recently learned about these. I'm watching Kim from Kimberbell. Is this edge right here is sharp. So this is to really get in there if you've got little threads that you need to lift up and cut. It's almost like you can do it all in one step.
That's awesome.
So that's great for applique as well as embroidery. And you really need a good pair of little snips. We have this pair, and then we just got these brand new ones. I just sold all of them in the store, but we do have them online. They're called Kai snips. I'll have David pull those up. You need really sharp tip tools. So your regular scissors sometimes don't have a sharp tip. Yep. So this pair just came out. So see how that tip is like very, very sharp. So sometimes applique really requires that, that different type of scissors. So find some scissors that have really sharp tips. I love this one. I was going to buy a pair, but they're gone. So we have them online.
Well, plus once you applique on your project, you've got all these little threads sticking out that you have to cut close to the
And this pair,
project.
I love it. They're angled up. So you can find these in this beautiful set that we have by Kimberbell, or you can, of course, buy these all separate. But you really need some different tools for your different projects.
Exactly.
So this is perfect for embroidery and embroidery applique.
One more thing, don't skimp on the tools because
invest. It's an investment, definitely.
You get so frustrated if you're trying to make do with something else that's not made for it.
Yeah, I've learned that
the hard way.
There are things that you definitely want to invest in.
Yes.
And I've also learned that sewing is not the most expensive hobby in the world. Fishing is.
Yikes. So you're saying if my husband is telling me that I'm spending too much on a sewing machine, I can turn around and say, but your boat.
Yeah, you're fishing. Yeah, our manager here, Corey, fishes, and he's telling me the prices he pays on different gear. So it's sewing's no problem. But definitely invest in some tools that just make your life easier.
Indeed.
And because you want to enjoy the process. You don't want to be frustrated.
Right.
You know, invest in a great machine and great tools. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help with those processes.
Well, that was fun.
So do we have a video? I think there's another video. No? Nope. You recorded just the one? Okay.
It was a long one.
It was a long one. Okay. I had it written twice. That we have 2 videos. Okay, well, excellent. Any burning questions out there? We didn't have anybody on chat today, but if there were any questions that popped up, definitely ask the expert. Debbie has been sewing for many, many, many years. And I know your love is heirloom.
Yes, that's my first love.
But she does everything. Like I said, she taught our classes for over a year. It was called Sewing with Your Feet, and how to use all these different feet that your sewing machines came with. And that was a really fun class.
Yes, we did a lot of techniques.
Yeah. And I understand you're headed to a retreat soon.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm going to go to Hamilton, Missouri, first week of June, to sew with Jenny Doan and all her group, and to shop at all the stores. They're all open again. And I go every year. Last year, of course not.
Didn't go yet.
But we stay in a dormitory, and I'm going to have 4 roommates. I don't know how they'll take it.
So you'll be back in high school.
Yeah.
Or what is it?
College.
Sleepaway camp?
Oh, my God.
That
It's going to
sounds
be
like
awesome.
fun. And Jenny was on our Quilt Fest.
Oh, she's so amazing.
So that sounds like a lot of fun to go hang out with her and her team out there.
Oh,
in
they
Hamilton.
are unbelievable. Yeah. It's
Awesome. Well, hey guys, we're just at 12. We did 1 hour packed with information. That was a lot of information and techniques. So definitely go back and rewatch this. Print the instructions that we had for you. So everything is in here. This is some of the discounts we have. And then we did have all the instructions for you. And I will upload the pictures that you can print out. But this is perfect. I mean, find a coloring book. I mean, there's so many fabulous things you can, resources. You don't need a pattern, you know. Find a coloring book. And there's lots online. You know, you put images, flower image, and
castles and trucks.
You name it.
Oh my God.
My granddaughter's into unicorns right now. So anything unicorn,
there you go.
she'd be thrilled with.
There you go. That'd be fun.
Okay, so
all right, you guys, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed that little video. It's so much fun to learn, you know, about applique, and there's so much more detail into it that meets the eye, you know? So it's always so much fun to learn some more. And Debbie and Candace, I mean, they're just so fun to watch together, right? They're amazing. We love them. But real quick, I just want to hop right back in. I know I mentioned this a little bit at the beginning of the live today, but I want to just hop on real quick. Today, we have a really, really special deal going on with that machine that they were using today, showing you all the different ways that you can adjust stitches and everything like that. That was the Baby Lock Ballad quilting and sewing machine. And right now, if you get one of those machines, we only have 3 left in stock. So if you got your eyes on it, today is the day to go ahead and buy it. If you pick up this machine today, you will get a free $500 SMP gift card, which is so exciting. And you can use it to buy all the different things that we had going on today and all the different notions, that lighting pad. I mean, all of that. They're all amazing. And that light pad is so much fun. Even if you're watching today and you don't sew or quilt or anything, it's so much fun to trace and draw on and color. Oh my goodness. I could have one in all my different houses in every single room. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know about that deal. And it's going on quick, and we've only got 3 left. So make sure you guys go check out that machine and get that free gift card so you can get more accessories. And also, if you look down here, we've got a summer sale little pop-up. And right now, if you sign up for our emails, you will get the one-stop shop to all of the details and info going on with SMP, everything with shows, events, classes, sales, deals, limited specials that you might only see on our email. So there's tons of things going on with our email. So make sure you guys are signing up for that and checking it out. And we will get you all the info that you need through emails. And that's a quick way for you to see all the specials and sales that we have got going on all day long, all day, every day. But let's go ahead and get into some giveaways. So our first giveaway today is going to be some merch. So we have got this adorable little bag that we have made on our merch website, and you guys can check out our merch. We have so many different shirts, hats, hoodies, bags, accessories, mugs. We have everything on there. So make sure you guys are checking out our merch website, and we always have little deals going on. So we'll usually have like a 20% off, sometimes a 30% off, free shipping, all that kind of thing going on. We'll have it on our merch website. But this bag says, when life gives you scraps, make a quilt. Words to live by, am I right? Isn't that just awesome? But I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel here, and we're going to see who's winning this adorable bag. Let's see. It's always so much fun seeing who's going to win. I always get so excited. Let's see. Marianne Fox, congratulations. You just won this new adorable bag. So go ahead and head to SMP Live. I'm going to put the website right down below real quick. Head to smplive.tv to claim your prize, put your info and address down there, and we will get that shipped out to you. Okay, let's go to another giveaway. Now, it's still summer. Summer may be coming to an end soon, but it's still summer, and it's still hot, and it's still sunny. I'm sure that's an issue some of us might be dealing with. I know a lot of people were having clouds, but it's been hot over here in San Diego for sure. So we're going to give away one of our merch hats. So this one says Gone Stitchin'. This was a take on our Gone Fishing hats that you always see. You know, all the fishing, Gone Fishing hats that maybe a man in your life is wearing, a husband, grandpa. I'm sure you've seen those Gone Fishing apparel designs before, but we've got one that says Gone Stitchin' because we as sewists deserve to have some fun with it too. So let's go ahead and spin and see who's gonna win this awesome hat. Let's see. Keep your head protected with your hat. There we go. Okay, let's see. Jacqueline's Own, congratulations. You have just won yourself a brand new SMP merch hat. So go ahead and in the little ticker down below, it says smplive.tv. Go ahead and head to that website and fill out the information, and we will get you that brand new hat. I'm so excited. Okay, now I think I want to give away a sew mat today. Since you guys were watching and seeing, they had the sew mat down there. They're a classic. We love our good old sew mats, and they have so many different colors. We've got two new colors. We've got aqua and cherry blossom. We've got all the colors that match the different brands: baby lock gold, brother blue, Bernina red, all the different colors for each of the brands. We've got purples and blues, and we have some limited edition ones too, and some animal ones as well. So yeah, so let's go ahead and see who is going to win. Let's see. Who's gonna win? Ann Jenkins, congratulations. You have just won a brand new sew mat. So go ahead and go down to smplive.tv and pick out your color and the size that you want, and we will get you that mat shipped out to you. Congrats. Okay, I've got one more giveaway that we're gonna do today. We wanna do one more. Let's do it. We're going to give away a Brother BM 3850 today. So if you maybe have grandkids, you've got some people in your life that maybe don't know how to sew, this is a great opportunity to get some people sewing and have a little sew party. Maybe teach them some applique after watching today's video. You never know. So let me spin this. But there's that machine. I'm going to take this off real quick. Let's see who's going to win. Let's see. Judy Bauer, congratulations. You have just won a brand new Brother BM 3850. So go ahead and go down to smplive.tv and fill out the information, and we will get you that prize shipped out to you. All right, you guys, let's take this off here. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's show. I'm so happy you guys were able to join us today. And make sure you guys tune into all of our other episodes and all of the fun and exciting things that we've got going on. And if you guys are interested, comment down below and on our Facebook and on our Instagram of what shows that you guys want to see from us in the future. If there's guests that we haven't had on yet that you really love and you want to see on the show in the future, let us know. We love your opinion and we love your feedback on the shows as well. I love being here with you guys and hanging out with you in the mornings. I feel like we've got our own little group, us and SMP Nation, us and our friends, got our buddies going on. But yeah, let us know. Give us some feedback and let us know what you want to see more of on SMP Live. Betty Bain said, will you be on tomorrow? I will be on tomorrow because Blaine will be hopping on from Nashville. So you'll see me a little bit tomorrow. So if you guys want to hang out with me again, I'd love for you guys to come and join tomorrow and check out the behind the scenes of the Brother Convention. And what else? I can't think of anything else. Make sure you guys are signing up for our emails. So that way you guys know and stay in the know of all of our different happenings and events, classes, sales. Our end of summer sale has just started. So make sure you guys check that out on our website and check out all the new products that we've got on sale and all the discounts. We've got sewing machines, furniture, right, Kyle? What else do we got? We've got everything. Everything's on sale today and through the rest of the month. So make sure you guys are checking out all of that and check out that Ballad too. Such an awesome machine with a great deal going on. But other than that, I think that is it for me. Make sure you guys have liked and commented. I know you guys are all commenting, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell notification so you never miss another S&P live show. And you'll see more of me. You'll see more of Blaine. You'll see more of everyone. So thank you guys so much for coming on and hanging out with me today. It was so much fun, and I will see you guys tomorrow. That's new to say. You'll see me tomorrow. Bye, guys. See you later.